Hi, I'm Faris from JB Properties. We're a property development and renovation company based in London and Essex. Prior to this deal, we'd focused mainly on buy-to-lets and one HMO in London. This was the first large next level HMO deal, which was more than 5 bedrooms, and we chose to do it in Birmingham. We chose to do our first project in Birmingham following a sourcing session. This was with Matt and Niall, part of my HMO Platform mastermind session. We were able to look at multiple towns and cities, assess the demand, assess the average rent, assess the current housing stock, style of property and the potential for renovation and adding floor space and reconfiguring spaces. Birmingham is what we decided on based on the proximity to where we're based, the style of property that was available in certain areas, and the purchase price, and also thorough networking that we'd done over the period of 6 months with our power team, including builders, architects, project managers and agents. So as an 8-bed HMO and also a co-living next level HMO in terms of the spec we were going for, this was by far the largest project we'd ever done. So we needed the support of Matt and Noel, particularly in the early stages of getting everything, all the ducks in line. We first had our surveys done through contacts we got from the mastermind. We had our architect draw up the plans. We were assisted with the planning process as well, and we were taught how to approach planning consultants and go through that process even before any work's done. Following a few months of property networking meetings in Birmingham to meet like-minded investors to gauge their strategies and what worked and what didn't work, I managed to establish relationships with multiple agents, particularly in South Birmingham and East Birmingham, which were areas I'd decided were on the train line to Birmingham New Street. One of the agents that I developed a relationship with was able to contact me 2 days before this property came onto the market because it fitted the exact spec that I was looking for and the potential was there. I made sure I was the first one on the first day of viewings to view the property, and following a look around the property, was able to gauge the size of the rooms and the potential of the space, and I worked out very quickly it could be 7 or 8 bedrooms. And then I offered asking price on the spot. I'd done my research beforehand as to comparables in the area, and then we found out a few days later that we'd had our offer accepted. We let the agent know that we had a combination of cash and access to bridging finance, so we can move very quickly and have a fast completion on this property. We bought it for £285,000. We spent just shy of £250,000. And as a conservative estimate, we hope the commercial valuation for the 8-bed HMO comes out at just under £600,000, which gives us a return on cash invested around 17 to 18%. So at the beginning of the project, we had a couple of exit strategies. The first one was a supported living project where we'd hand it over on a long-term contract to a supplier who was able to work with the council. And that would be a fully maintaining lease where it's kind of a hands-off strategy. And the second, more preferable option, which lends itself to a slightly higher commercial valuation, was to run it as a next level HMO with luxury communal facilities that's able to achieve slightly higher rent and people that are going to look after the rooms better too. So I think the biggest challenges in our project were, number one, planning. So we decided to begin the works without the full planning for the complete scheme we were doing because we were hopeful that our planning consultant would help us get that through. And until we finally got that a couple of months ago, it was a very nervous process, lots of sleepless nights. And the second challenge was that the spec we agreed with the architect didn't completely come to life with the builders that we used because there was a bit of miscommunication, and I think the learning from that is to specify absolutely everything and make sure you're completely happy with what your vision is. And I think sometimes where you compromise on your initial vision, it affects how tenants can use the space. So our project did go slightly over budget, and the learning from that is to always have your contingency plans for how you might be able to make things slightly cheaper. And I think it would be better to do that with the architect that has a slightly more idea of your vision than the contractor, who's then going to just do what's practical as opposed to what actually works in the space best. So I think the biggest learning, apart from making sure you have the complete planning in place before you do any works because of the exposure and the risk, would probably be to be extremely clear on your communication and make sure you're getting what you want, because the initial vision that you go out with is what's going to give you that high commercial valuation at the end and deliver the project that you really want. So a big inspiration for the design was looking at commercial co-working spaces and how people convene together, have a chat, work together, have a coffee, have their laptops out. So we really wanted to have a good flow walking through from the house to the kitchen communal living area with a big kitchen island where people can eat, chat. There's a TV there as well. And I think throughout the whole house we've ensured that there are areas people can convene and catch up with each other. We've also kept a botanical theme with the artwork we've got going throughout the house, so we've got some nice greens and neutral colours and earthy tones. I think my favourite part of the project is when it went from a shell to then coming to life with paint and flooring and colour and soft furnishings. And I think the kitchen communal area is somewhere where I'd really love to spend time myself, so it's definitely my favourite part of the project, designing that. So working with Matt and Niall in the HMO platform gave me the confidence to expand my horizon slightly and look at slightly larger properties and larger projects with larger scopes of work, because prior to that I wouldn't have felt confident I could carry it out to a good standard. I wasn't considering Birmingham as an investment area, but following a thorough analysis of areas, their yields and the housing stock available, I selected Birmingham, which was all part of my mastermind sessions. And the tips I used to gain a relationship with the agent in question helped me secure this property before anyone else. A big part of how the mastermind helped in general and specifically with this project was building a power team that's quite specific to a region. So I made sure that once I'd selected Birmingham, I had my builder ready, my architect ready, structural engineer, and everyone I needed to execute the project. I think the biggest draw to the mastermind was being able to see the kind of projects that Matt and Niall were able to work on, and how if they could do it, I could do it with a bit of training and know-how and a bit of hand-holding through the initial stages of the process. Prior to being part of the mastermind course, I was an angel investor in one of their projects in Stockport, and a couple of site visits really gave me the confidence that I'd be able to work with contractors and carry out a project almost to that scale. So looking at a completed project like this can be really overwhelming, but the mastermind has really helped me, empowered me to take that first step, and lots of small steps add up to the completed project, and now I can take the learning forward onto bigger and better things and look for more opportunities. If you've been in a similar situation where you've looked at other projects and they've been overwhelming, and you've looked at what other people are doing and think it's probably not something you can achieve yourself, then I think the HMO platform will really empower you to take that first step like they did for me. It can help you create your first next level HMO.